Fletcher Cox is not going to come back. Hargrave is not going to come back. Do you think that they're still trying to push and evolve into this philosophical place that they want to be? What's going on, Philadelphia? I am non-exclusively franchise-tagged host John Barchard, exclusively tagged host Vince Quinn, and exclusively tagged engineer Mr. Taylor Kredatus. All here. It is Bell The Birdmen. So glad you could join us. And boy, oh boy, are people mad about Howie Roseman already. It's been weeks since the Super Bowl. Can't wait to get into that with you. But Vince Quinn, man, oh man, ask and we shall receive. Here is the non-exclusive tag for Lamar Jackson. And for some awful reason, you think this is being underutilized or something like that. Yeah. Vince Quinn, first of all, how are you? Second of all, tell me your wrong opinions.
First off, I'm amazing, and everything just feels good. I lost a couple of pounds. I certainly needed that. I think my goal in future years will be to put on weight so I can lose weight, and that people can tell me I look good for the weight that I
it's
put on.
Worked for me, by the way. You just gain 10, lose 20, and it's just really healthy to do that, by the way. That yo-yoing, fantastic. So,
oh, yeah, it's great for your body.
The compliments keep coming, so.
That's all that matters. It's all about our egos. But, yeah, man, dude, you look at everything that goes on with the non-exclusive franchise tag, and nobody uses it, and I'm looking around going, why the fuck is nobody using this thing? It makes all the sense in the world. It helps everybody. Like, here's what happens with the non-exclusive tag. First off, baseline is the same, okay, as the exclusive. It's the same in terms of what a player is owed once they get that tag, the minimum that you can pay. It's the same. So that's the first part. But here's the second part that's so interesting about it is if I'm a player, I get to go on the open market. I get to discuss with everybody. I get to see what my offers are. And those offers are more than 1 year. You can get multiple year offers on the market as a player because you're on the market. That's what people can offer you. A franchise tag is a 1 year thing. You're stuck in that box. So if I'm a player, I want that. If I'm the team, I want that, because if I disagree about what this guy is, all the franchise tag does is punt a year, and you hope something changes that fixes your leverage dramatically. So outside of that, you might as well have the guy hit the market, see what he's actually worth, and you're still protected. I mean, it's 2 first-round picks that you're getting awarded if you lose the guy. What's the risk? Like, I don't care.
You lose Lamar Jackson. What the fuck? This is what
would have enough to pay him anyway. So if you're not going to pay him anyway, then who cares? You weren't going to pay him. You can't agree to a deal. Somebody is willing to pay him. And now that they found that and you were wrong about his value, you fucked up. Well, here's 2 first-round picks for your mistake.
Man, this is like, no one uses this for a reason. It means, and I agree with, this is not original thought because everybody's been saying this, but it's just true. If you're to this point with your franchise quarterback, you fucked up. Somewhere along the line, you fucked up royally, really, really bad. Like, and that is what you're presenting to the world and the rest of the league. And by the way, the rest of the league has already responded and said, fuck you, do your own homework. The Panthers have already said, we're not doing this. Even the Desmond Ritter hive, which is trying to be collapsed and by the entire world, is saying, no, thank you, we're good. We are good for Lamar Jackson being here. Eagles fans would not even dare to entertain a Lamar swap here, mainly because we talked about that last episode in A.J. Brown. But, like, this is the exact scenario in which it's coming true. Like, man, I don't know why everyone, half of the league, more than half of the league, is not like waiting for this. I maybe it's because, or in on this, I should say, if they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets thing to settle, which is apparently happening today, which I don't think is going to happen. But either way, whether you agree or disagree with what the Ravens are doing, and I think they're being total idiots here, this is going to slow up the show for Jalen Hurts, and just be prepared if this thing goes into July, because that guy is still controlling the market, and Daniel Jones only made this harder, I think, to pay Jalen Hurts right now, and so did Derek Carr. Like, both of those guys got signed They're bullshit deals. They're $35 million for two or 3 years, or $40 million when it comes down to it. But the flashy number is still the flashy number, and they're gonna wait and see, man. So I hope you are ready and prepared with lots of snacks, and hope you're ready to gain some weight this summer, because we're gonna be waiting around for a long time for that news.
No, it's a loose trend. I'm going to look great in a swimsuit. But the other side is, first off, all your points about the Lamar Jackson stuff help my point. Like, he goes on the market. Did they fuck up? It doesn't look like it to me. All that's happened is he hit the market, and all these teams immediately said, we're out, because one, collusion, definitely, and two, and nobody wants to give this guy a guaranteed deal, and that's always been what he's wanted, regardless of the bullshit that's been out there. That's always been the case. So, given all of that, the Ravens have now looked at this guy. He said, I want a guaranteed deal, pay me. They say no. They say, okay, go check the market. You tell us that you can get that deal. Someone's offering it, and they want to keep him. They'll match it. They have the right to match. Well, nobody's probably offering that deal. So, if anything, that makes it better in the case of re-signing Jalen Hurts, because you're not going to have to negotiate against all that guaranteed money. And then for guys like Derek Carr and all that, I mean, it's like, I don't know, what's $35 million a year? I don't think that's a big deal. The Daniel Jones stuff is inflated. There's stuff that has to do with incentives that are baked into that deal. So I think he's in the ballpark of like $46 million a year, $48 million a year. I'm telling you. Okay. I'm telling you. So I think you're looking at that, and that's what I said last week. It's like 46 to 48, 6-year contract. That's how you get around all the guaranteed stuff. He gets guaranteed money over 6 years.
That's a nice analytical evaluation, which will get blown out of the water in 8 short weeks or so. That's ridiculous.
Like
if you think he's making under 50 now, not happening. Like I was having this argument in the Discord, and feel free to jump in at any time. BellTheBirdmen.com. This idea that I'm not saying that Howie Roseman won't find a good deal out of this. He will. It'll be a good structured contract. Not worried about that for 1 second. But if you think they have power with Jalen Hurts' contract, you're insane. And there is no leverage when the guy you traded for also would like shut down immediately and demand a trade if you screw with this money or if you tag him, which, by the way, I was wrong. I thought the Eagles have never tagged anybody or let anybody play on a tag. Did you know that they tagged L.J. Smith and they let him play because Donovan wanted him back? I completely forgot about that.
Wow.
You should have known then. But like the Eagles don't do this shit, and they already committed. So Clutch Sports is going to suck every dollar out, and everybody's going to be worried until May's like, can they do anything because Jalen's going to put them out of business, or I don't know, whatever it is, which. Man, I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on this? Because I really, getting to the defense now and where Howie and all this other stuff and all this shit lies, it's driving me crazy. I think you hit the panic button, and now you're driving me mad.
How dare you? Just because I get loud, all right, does not mean I'm hitting the panic button. This is how it goes, and we can get into the life cycle of that. I mean, yeah, everything with Hurts, I think it gets resolved soon, and the leverage they've got is the franchise tag. I mean, they can always franchise Jalen. And if they want to do that, that's a year from now. I'm just saying, if you want to talk leverage, they do have leverage, and that's part of the reason that you go get a deal done now, and it's a standard structured deal because, collusion is real, and his market for that has also gone down. So I think that's where everything is with Jalen. But, yeah, defensively, man, like, I think everybody needs
I'm sorry, real quick, low-key, the Browns fucked the Ravens, and I think they did it on purpose. They're like, we have no moral compass at all. We are going to pay this absurdly shitty person the most money in the history of the NFL, and we're in your division, and we're going to make you choose right now. The NFL is conniving enough, and because you're going to look like shit either way. If you let this guy walk because you're not going to pay him what the shitty quarterback got paid, that's a big problem for that fan base. That's all.
Well, Deshaun Watson, shit person, and had a shit year this year. When it hit the market, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he was like 25.
So is Lamar. That's all I'm saying.
It's byproduct. Like, that's what it is for me. It's a byproduct of just being in the same division and just being a quarterback around the same time. The Browns really, they saw everything with Baker Mayfield. They decided to put all of their problems on him, and then they said, okay, well, if we go all in for Watson, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Our roster's great. And so far, it does not look like that's going to happen at all. So I just think that's what it is. They were desperate.
But regardless, there is a lot of transition happening here still as well. There's a lot of things that are still up in the air. Did you see the Eagles Twitter freak out, by the way, when CJGJ is giving his, hey, thanks for everything, Philly, or all love, I think it was, bunch of comments saying, hey, congratulations, you're not going to be around. And if it's true, that's true. But I like, people do this shit all the time. I think it's just Frank Gore has scarred me for life. I don't trust anyone a week and a half before the free agency starts. So in my mind, CJGJ is still here, and a reporter is going to ask him, well, what the hell was all that about that stuff about, it's all love? It's like, oh, I'm just going on vacation. Because, like, that's the other part of this, too. We're not going to hear a ton of news because everyone's on vacation. Everyone. They had a late end to the season. I don't know if you knew this or not, but, like, they're just jumping on planes left and right to go chill out and, like, not talk about anything for a couple of weeks. So we probably won't have a bunch of answers. But I do agree, it doesn't look like most of the secondary, all of the secondary is going to be back. Hargrave is not going to be back. Adam Schefter reported on ESPN Radio that they're all going to have big paydays. I still think one of them has to have a big payday here, but what does it tell you if CJGJ, Hargrave, and Bradbury will not be re-signed?
Well, yeah, what it tells me is they would have re-signed Hassan Reddick. That's not now, but think about this, right? You got a plan for what this franchise is going to be for the next couple of years. You're giving Jalen a new contract. It's a whole new world. So that's all well and good. That's going to adjust things a lot substantially anyway, and leaning towards offense over the defense is totally fine by me. But the other part of this is, like, Reddick right now, you know what he's getting paid this year? Because top of the market, as a defensive end, as an edge, right? $28 million. That's TJ Watt right now. He's making $28 million a year. Hassan Reddick this year is getting paid $7 million. $7 million. 3-year deal, 20. And next year, so the year after that, 2024, he's going to get paid the most money on his deal, $20 million. So he's going to be next year $10 million less than the top pass rusher in the league.
There you go.
If you're looking to pay a guy like that, that's going to happen next year. You got to plan for all that stuff, which means, okay, you can't pay Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You can't pay Javon Hargrave. You're investing in this guy who's an elite edge, and it is what it is because it's quarterback, it's A.J. Brown, it's offensive line. You can't have everything, and they just need to win every game by 30 points. It's going to be fine. So they're just going to score like crazy. So go do that. Like, that's okay, and that's part of why last year's roster was so special. It's one of the best rosters I've ever seen in my life, period, let alone the best roster I've seen in this city. You can't replicate that. You're going to have to let a lot of things go. So keep Reddick, believe in that guy, let him be your horse for the next couple of years, and figure everything else out along the way, just young guys, vets, all that.
Something's up. That's all. I think there is whether you believe it or not, I don't know. Do you buy into the Marcus, my goodness, my brain is failing me. Marcus Hayes. Yes, thank you. I'm buying into the Marcus Hayes. Dennard Wilson was fired, not just parting ways amicably or whatever it was, originally stated. I'm buying into that. I just because, like, listen, if Dennard Wilson was to be like, hey, dude, we lost Rallis, Gannon's not here, we're reshaping everything. The secondary is not even going to be the same. This whole thing that we have to learn is not even going to be the same system that we run, or to be oddly, close to it. So I think that's it playing here, and a very motivated Howie Roseman of saying, like, well, you're not just going to leave nobody on the defense, right? Everyone is suggesting that it's going to be a hell of a quiet offseason for Howie Roseman, and I just don't buy that, do you? There's too many things that are departing. There's a brand new defensive coordinator, and yes, things are similar, but you suggested this, when we thought Gannon was going to get hired the first time in 21 with the Texans, be like, listen, are they just completely shifting this? Because Fletcher Cox is not going to come back. Hargrave is not going to come back. I don't think it's just because of money. I do think that they're still trying to push and evolve into this philosophical place that they want to be. If it was just more out of curiosity or player information, which is, very relevant this time, maybe they are just scouting Nick Herbig at edge and want some more information from Wisconsin or Michigan or whatever it is. But to me, this really looks like an opportunity for Desai, who looks as if and smells like a Gannon head coach in the future type of guy that wants to implement the philosophies from Fangio, from him, which they buy as close to or better. I don't know, but it looks as more he's going to have a lot of hands in personnel, and I think that's what they're leading. I wouldn't be shocked if one of these picks, either first rounder for a premium defensive tackle, an edge, a corner, something like that has to fall here. They have too many good assets, and probably one of the last. Well, I don't know. Howie is a genius, so I can't say never, but like a really good opportunity with a top 10 pick, and people are biting to get it because of QBs or fucking running backs, maybe. But I don't think they are close to. They have one more shock and awe coming for the defense, I think.
I think they're going to be busy as shit on draft day. I mean, like the whole draft, they're just going to be moving like crazy because part of it is they've got so many holes in the middle of this draft. I mean, they got picks to the 3rd round, and then you're not picking again until the 7th. You can't tell me that's going to be the case. Also, think about this, right? Howie loves comp picks. All these guys hitting the market, they are comp picks, most likely. And part of it's going to be even. So Turbo Mike just put it in the Discord this morning. Mike Garafolo saying that Andre Dillard could get a pretty big contract because people think he's a starting left tackle. So, great. That's another comp pick. If the Eagles get comp picks from like Chauncey, Hargrave, Cox, Dillard, I know I'm missing somebody else, Bradbury. If they're getting comp picks from all those guys, they're going to have 13 picks in next year's draft, and that's a lot of picks, 3rd round, 4th round, maybe 5th round. So if you're getting all that, I don't see why they don't get a lot of those picks from next year and trade into this year's draft. I think we see that a couple of times because they need young guys on defense. Maybe you get one of those guys, premier player at the top, whether it's corner, safety. I mean, I've been advocating a safety at the top before. Either way, well, whatever they go and get, that's the kind of thing that you do, and you build this defense over the next 2 years. Like Sean Desai over the next 2 years, he's shopping at Lidl. He's shopping at Aldi. You know what I mean? It's like he's not getting all the store brand. It's all store brand stuff. He's not getting the big names and the high prices. He's got to make it work, and that's just going to be the deal because you are paying quarterback, you are paying the line, you are paying A.J. Brown, like Dallas Goedert. It is what it is. So, yeah, go all in on the defense like that. Start figuring those things out. Those are going to be the biggest splashes, just being super active in the draft. Everything else, you're just trying to find value. Like, are they going to have that guy first day to go and sign that guy and go, oh, shit, they just went in on this dude. They really love this guy, which was Javon Hargrave a couple of years ago, which was Hassan Reddick last year. Is that guy out there? I haven't heard anybody. I don't know, and we've been surprised the last couple of years anyway. So who's that guy? And otherwise, yeah, man, just a bunch of movement through the draft, which is what Howie's great at.
And they've had a huge pattern of that. That's not just a one-off either of trying to find Hargrave. Timmy Jernigan was supposed to be in that same way. You found Slay in the same way. And I like that. Like I know that they need to use draft picks, but I still feel like there's something coming. Let me just put this in your head, too, because it's the most logical person that I can think of. You've traded with this team before. Shane Steichen is over there now. DeForest Buckner is right around Hargrave's age. He's a little less right now. He's got no guaranteed money, I believe, after this year at all, which you could completely restructure. I don't know what kind of asset we're talking about there, but like a second, a third, a combo of picks. I think he's very relevant to like Hargrave. I think he plays more a little more versatile, I would say, and probably a really good compliment to Jordan Davis or somebody that or Jordan Davis is replacing in that rotation. I think that would be something fair and fun if you want to shoot for the stars. You're already turning me down on this one. You're saying no way, but Vita Vea, again, the AFC South is just sitting there kind of going like, I don't know, we're hanging out. To be honest, like, I would love to see the possibilities of redesigning the whole thing if you wanted to. If the Saints come calling, because now listen, the other thing I'm not dismissing either is no one has put out the Matt Patricia fire. Not one person has said, oh, that would be ridiculous. Darius Slay is here. That won't work. Okay, you fired Dennard Wilson. You're restructuring everything. There's a brand new defensive coordinator come in. Does he like Slay? We don't know. We haven't asked. The Saints just signed Derek Carr. They're stupid. They like to do stupid things. If you can get a third or a fourth or whatever for Darius Slay, it's no hate towards Slay at all. I'm just saying, if you're going to go kaboom on this thing and give away everything and redesign it, I'm listening. That's all. I think there's a bunch of different things you could do. I think Howie has been very creative, and I would expect at least a target at D tackle if this is the way you're going to go here.
Yeah, see, here's really how I think all of this is, and nobody wants to say it. It's a transition year. It just is. Like, you're losing your whole defense. You're about to pay your quarterback $1 billion. That's how it goes. That's okay. And so thinking about all the kind of moves that they're going to make, like, I don't think they're going heavy on veterans, and I really wouldn't trade for veterans. Like the Derrick Henry thing, I think is fucking ridiculous. Last year, when you're going for the Super Bowl in that moment, does it make sense to trade for Derrick Henry? Sure, it's more interesting then. It makes more sense than you're going all in for the moment. But, like, now, for what? Like, you have like $47 million in dead cap money. You need to reset a whole lot of things this year. I think it's like stopgap city, man. It's like stopgaps and kids and all that stuff. But all that being said, you could trade Slay, you could save $4 million. But I want to win games. Like, I got to rebuild my whole secondary potentially. Epps is gone. Chauncey's gone. Bradbury's gone. So if I'm losing all those guys and my only guy in the secondary is Maddox right now, I got to sign all these other people. I don't know. That feels like a lot of
man. Yeah, but I'm just saying there's Shaquille Griffin just became a free agent. I don't want Marcus Peters here, trust me. Patrick Peterson, again, around the same age. That is that stopgap. So, like, you get something for Slay, you make it a 1-year contract for one of those guys, maybe you make it Patrick Peterson, Shaquille Griffin, go crazy in the draft, wait for those third-round comp picks to hit the next year and keep filling in the secondary. I agree with you. I just think you have to still, and this is what I love, honestly. You tell me if I'm crazy here. If you have bad thoughts about Howie Roseman right now, shut the fuck up. Like, stop it. Bitch in April, bitch in May, after the draft, after free agency, I'm all ears. I'm ready for criticism. But the greatest thing that Howie Roseman is already doing, which I think people are pre-blaming him for, is he's not going to be able to maintain what he set up, right? He's not going to be able to maintain this. Oh, no. He's already not making the mistakes from the last time that they won the Super Bowl. You would be saying, like, oh, come on, just pay. We're all saying, come on, just keep this team together. Oh, come on, just pay him. Come on, just pay CJ. Come on, just pay Hargrave. And he's going, no. That's where we fucked up last time. No, I'm not bringing Brandon Graham back on a 1-year deal. No, I'm not going to bring back Bradbury. Everything in my bones wants me to tell me to do it, but he's 30 and going to make a shitload of money. Like, they just don't have enough money, and that's true. But he's also being incredibly disciplined so far. So, like, great. I think this is awesome. It's going to lead up to, I think, some very interesting things in free agency. And where this team lands in 2025, I think it'll be awesome. But I don't know, man. This team seems it could be right back in the AFC Championship, Super Bowl hangover, and all. Getting refreshing guys in here and not keeping the same guys with the Super Bowl mentality, I think has its silver linings, until you're finding that young core again on defense.
Yeah, like, go change all this stuff over. Here's the other part of it, too, is that you want to keep all these guys short. You can't do it. There's too many talented guys. They're all great players. Like, any of these guys hitting the market, you would look at and go like, oh, my God, this is a big deal for a lot of teams. But there's so many guys. Like, this is not normal. None of this has been normal. We've been spoiled this year. So that's part of the equation. And then, like, think about some of the other stuff, too, because salary cap rolls over. So that's why you don't go and make a major investment in a guy right now as you're figuring out what the core of this is. You're figuring out a whole new defensive unit. So who are those young guys that you're bringing in? They're going to be your mainstays and the whole back half of the defense. I don't fucking know. So let's see what some of those things are. Let's make some gambles. Let's see who's a real player for this team going forward this year, especially for the defense, and then go and make some investments once you've carried over a little bit of cap, once you've cleared a lot of dead money. And like next year, if you run through all the contracts, there's no obvious cuts next year. Like one of the biggest things that the teams get into all the time, and this is such an exhausting process and why the Saints are such a dog shit organization, is because you get these players, they have massive cap hits in the back end of their deal. It's understood that you're going to be cutting these guys. You're going to eat some money to do it. And the Eagles don't have any players like that. Everybody that's on contract for next year is going to play, and you expect them to be in their prime still and play really good football. So that's for 2023 and 2024 specifically, is like all these guys that are big deals, like A.J. Brown for $27 million is when the big number is going to hit in 2024. I expect him to play really well, and that's still it's probably going to be under a top 5 or just around top 5 in terms of average value of a receiver. So like there's no bad deals on the books for 2024. So build to that. Like you're trying to get to there when the space is freed up. You can roll money over. The dead money's gone. You've got young kids. You've got all these draft picks, comp picks, whatever. And like, let it ride, man. I mean, that's really the year for me, but the conference does suck. And the only teams you're worried about right now are San Francisco and Dallas. So like, who gives a shit? It's like they've got every chance to win this year anyway.
So you're saying it's Josh Joby season in the secondary?
Well, I'm saying I'm keeping Slay, and then if I have to go with a Patrick Peterson for 1 year and just a couple $1 million, like yeah, I'll do that and make Joby compete, McPherson compete, and draft a kid and whatever. Like
I'm good with that too. We have our first trade, and then we have one quick either or, and then we'll get out of here. It's going to make Vince Quinn a little disappointed, I think. It's a trade with the Ravens and Jets. It's for a safety, and Chuck Clark has just been sent over there for a 7th-round draft pick. Pretty interesting, actually, considering that the Eagles were in on him, I believe, before it was at the 21 offseason.
Last year, that was part of the consideration because, they didn't have Chauncey at the time, especially, and we had no idea. I mean, with Epps and Blankenship and Kayvon, it was like, I don't know what any of these guys are. Yeah, he was a popular name after Hamilton got picked.
All right, well, we're going to keep trying to have this either-or question in the Discord, so again, be sure to join us there, bellthebirdmen.com. I think we'll just throw one out there each day until we actually hit free agency, and it seems as if everyone is trying to link a running back to the Eagles. I don't know if that's just because of funny ha-has or negotiating tactics or whatever it is, but today's either-or revolves around Miles Sanders. So are we paying Miles Sanders? I'm actually going to drop it $1 million from what I said in the Discord, just to make it a little more tantalizing, I guess, for this question. Are you going with a 3-year deal with Miles Sanders at $8.5 million per year, or you have to draft a running back in the first round with either 10 or 30? Have to. Cannot trade down, cannot trade up, have to draft one. Which one are you choosing?
First off, when did you become Dave Gettleman? When did this happen? When did you start? Do you know what a computer is? Do you know what a 5-year plan is?
I'm just asking, what do you find? What is overall the better value for your football team moving forward? That's the question.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, it's easy to go first round pick at running back. I would much rather. As much it hurts me to my core to say that I would take a running back at 10. But if Bijan Robinson is there at 10, I'm taking that guy over Miles. Yeah. Oh my God, it's not even close. 5 years. The short cap hits, low money these first couple of years. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
All right. Well, obviously, we both hate Miles Sanders. There is a ton of talent in this draft class, I think, from head to toe. So, obviously, I'm paying Miles Sanders, and I'm going to write it out, and there is no fucking way I'm drafting a running back in the first round at all. I don't care if I got to... So... Make it a 2-year deal, sit his ass on the bench, don't overuse him, underuse him. I don't care. I would rather find something that this team desperately needs, like a young defensive core, and just sit on it and hang out. And it would kill me to my core, but you have to do that. You have to do that.
You'd pay Miles more money in 3 years than you would pay the rookie for 5. Get out here.
I'd rather have the cheaper talent to build something. D-tackle, wide receiver. I'd rather not pay that person a bunch of money for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I'd rather. I mean, the rookie deals for guys, it's probably going to be like, I don't know, $3 million, $5 million. It's like it's not, especially year 1, year 2. Those guys aren't making shit, man. I would totally go and burn that first rounder.
Well, fight with us in the Discord. Brought to you by our friends over at Reading Soda Works, of course, ReadingSodaWorks.com. More on that as in the last episode. If you haven't checked that out, especially on YouTube, we were hanging out in their facility where they actually make and bottle our soda and all of their own. We're very excited to keep letting that to blossom, and there will be some great news on where you can get that online and hopefully, maybe, possibly shipped to you in the summer and the fall. That's what we're hardcore working on with them right now. So, ReadingSodaWorks.com. Check out all the flavors. Tell us which one you think is your favorite, because we've gone through everything. The seltzers, they've got Canna-Fizz, they've got all sorts of crazy stuff that is, you would think is like, that's not going to taste good. You're like, holy shit, that tastes amazing. So it's pretty outstanding. ReadingSodaWorks.com. Anything before we go here, guys?
I don't know. I think I've yelled at you a lot today. I'm just going to add one more point. I would rather draft Tank Bigsby at 10 overall, okay, than pay Miles Sanders. Give me Tank Bigsby, who I think is a 3rd or 4th round player. I would take him at 10 before Miles.
I'll just burn some money and draft some young players. I can't do it. I can't. Especially if you're not getting picks back. So, all right. We will see you for the free agent frenzy, and there's some good friends of ours that are asking to stop by at their places of business to come eat and hang out shortly. So more to come, and glad you're with us. Make sure you're subscribing down below on YouTube. Make sure you're giving us that 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you are listening, and we will talk to you very soon on Bell the Birdmen. Bye.